Hello and welcome this morning. This is the In Christ Co-Resurrection Participation Session. I'd like to welcome you to this session this morning. In this class, our living Jesus Christ walks us through the relational and awareness steps that we're invited to take so that we can participate in co-resurrecting the suffering and the limitation that is alive within our life and alive within the world around us. For this class, you're going to need to have a journal and a comfortable place where you can sit uninterrupted about the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'm going to give you just a few minutes to go ahead and get situated. I'm going to have a little sip of coffee, and then we will begin our time together this morning. And so we begin our time together the way that Jesus invites us to begin all of our moments of conscious awareness, and that is to first pause and take a moment to recognize how you are connected to and supported by the place where you are seated. Go ahead and take a moment to notice how your body is held by your seat. Let's go ahead and pay attention to that together now. And as you are noticing how you are held by the place where you are seated, Jesus invites us to take a moment to recognize which part of your body feels the most held by your seat. Let's go ahead and take a moment to recognize that together. Which part of your body feels the most held by your seat? And as you are noticing how your body is held by the place where you are seated, you're going to go ahead and write that body part down. Which one is it? So take a moment and let your brain really see. This part of my body is the most held by my seat. For me, it's my right lower back and hip. So you want to notice what that is for you. You're going to write that down. And we're going to refresh our brain's awareness of that area. We're saying, here is where I am already supported. Here is where I am already supported. I'm going to look there again with my brain and then allow my body to experience being supported. And from that experience of support, Jesus invites us to take a moment to recognize that God is alive in everything around us. And God is alive in everything around us in order to offer us living provision and living support for our journey. And Jesus says that we are made by God to be living in intimate relationship with this profound Christ mystery. The way that we are able to begin to recognize that and begin to move back into an intertwined relationship with that is by learning how to feel God alive and holding you right through the place where you are seated. So Jesus says, go ahead and take a moment and you're going to bring your awareness back to that body part. And you're saying, here is where I am the most physically connected to the way that God is alive and holding me. Here is where I am the most physically connected to the way that God is alive and holding me. Go ahead and take a moment to let yourself feel that. And take a moment to notice, what does that quality of support feel like to you? As you are noticing that you are held, what does that feel like to you? So you want to circle what that quality of support feels like. And Jesus invites us to write the word living in front of it. We want to be able to help our brain to begin to experience through the physicality of the support and into the living mystery that is alive. See if you can allow your brain to reach through the experience of physical support and into the living experience of how God is holding you. Our brain can actually begin to feel this. You know, when I worked, I don't talk much about myself in this class, but when I worked in high school, I worked for a acupuncturist who was from Taiwan. And one of his primary exercises that he had me do was to blindfold myself and feel people's bodies blindfolded, to learn to feel what healthy feels like. What does disease feel like? What does that aliveness feel like without my mind seeing it, but actually feeling what is alive beyond just what I see? And this, I think, was one of the most important lessons of my entire, to date, 30-year career, because it is the part of our brain, the part of our brain that actually allows us to experience everything that is present, not necessarily what we can, only the things that we can see. I'm sorry, I'm slurring my words. But this is exactly what Jesus is teaching us to do here, where as I am sitting and being supported, there is an experience of or a quality of sense of merging that begins to happen, where your boundary of your body and the boundary of the surfaces that are supporting you begin to become blurred. And that's when we are becoming more aware of the aliveness that is within us and the aliveness that is within the objects or the surfaces that we are connected to. This is the same thing if I'm sitting in my car, or if I am sitting on the ground or in my bed or in a chair. As I really and truly allow myself to become supported, I am able to, in a way, merge with the aliveness of that which I am connected to. And according to Jesus, because God is alive in everything and is expressing itself through everything with living support, we are being invited through these practices to become conditioned to be um, turning to that first before we are turning to what is alive in our world. So when I can be feeling, how is it that God is holding me in this moment? And recognize that in every moment, if I'm driving my car, if I'm standing in the grocery line, if I am, with my child at a soccer game, working on a client, I'm always connected to one thing. And if I allow myself to experience that thing and feel in that moment, what is the intimate offering that God is providing me so that I am fortified in Christ in that moment? This is profound, you guys, and this is alive everywhere, and every single moment it changes, and it is the most exciting relationship I have ever experienced. And so let's turn our mind back there again together today, and let's look at that first thing. Where are you the most supported in this moment? Which part of your body is supported? And what does that quality of support feel like to you as you recognize that God's heart and hand is holding you right where you are seated? What does that feel like to you? And then from that place, Jesus says, take a moment to notice, what is the challenge that is prominent in your life today? What are you facing today that is a challenge or confusing or overwhelming? We're going to go ahead and write that down into our journals in a short blurb. Let's go ahead and do that together now. And from that place, as you are reading back through that challenge, Jesus invites us to notice, what does your mind think or see as you are facing that? What do you see your mind, what do you experience your mind thinking or seeing as you are facing the challenge that is alive today? Let's go ahead and take a moment and notice that. And what is it that you normally find yourself saying as you are facing this quality of circumstance? What is it you normally find yourself saying? Again, we're not trying to arrive with what we think it should be. We're trying to take enough time to really feel and experience the heart of our broken humanity, of the places where we are coming up short or resistant or overwhelmed. And we are noticing how that comes alive within each region of our way that we experience. So we have our mind, our speech, our behavior, our emotions, our um, the way that we breathe, what it has been like in the past, and what we are imagining it might be like in the future. This is what Jesus is inviting us to become aware of so that we can fully bring ourselves home to Christ. And as we offer that to Christ, something new can begin to occur. But the first thing that occurs is that we are developing a capacity to even just hold the intimate truth of our humanity. And as we learn to hold our own humanity, we then are better able to hold each other's humanity and to be held in Christ throughout the whole process. So, this is a beautiful, remarkable, brilliant practice that Jesus has given us. Obviously, it's brilliant because it's from God. It's not from me, I'll tell you that. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to looking at refreshing our awareness of what it is that God is providing you right through the place where you are seated. Go ahead and take a moment and you're going to look back at that. And allow yourself to take that in. And that gives us a little bit more nest to rest into as we courageously look more deeply into our humanity. You want to take a moment and notice, what is it that you normally say as you are facing this quality of challenge in your life? And how is it that I am normally behaving as I'm facing into this challenge? Then you want to take a moment and notice what are the emotions or the sensations that come up as you are facing this quality of experience. And what has that been like in the past as you have faced into a challenge like that? And then you want to take a moment and notice what is it that you imagine the future is going to be like as you are facing this. A lot of times we have these unconscious ideas of what we are imagining is going to happen in the future, but we don't really realize that we're actually responding to that um, to that unconscious thing. And so it's helpful to even just name, like, I think that because this is present, this is going to happen. And that's where my limit to being able to really be in relationship with this is coming from. And we want to read this back to Jesus. We're saying, these are the experiences that are alive within me. This is the way that I am holding this challenge. Please show me how to be held in this challenge in Christ. Show me how to respond to this challenge in Christ. And what is it that you hear or see or feel being offered to you so that you can respond to this question, to this challenge? Participants, we're going to go ahead and move into our day from this place of holding ourselves, allowing ourselves to be held in Christ, and just doing the best we can to yield to Jesus in all moments as we can feel our days and our relationships and our circumstances that we are facing become heavy or challenging, to be able to recognize in that moment how we are supported, to be able to turn ourselves to Jesus and say, show me how to respond in this moment in Christ, and moving slow enough in our life that we can listen to that offering or to that invitation beyond that. I thank you all for being here today. It's my honor to be here with you. And I give great thanks to my living Jesus Christ, who leads me down this very narrow path. It's a hidden path, and it's one that we have to say in every moment, yes, this is what is happening in this moment, but what is it that God is intending to unfold in this moment if I turn and I allow myself to be held by a power that is greater than the circumstances that are happening in this world? I thank you all for being here. It is a huge honor, and I will see you when it suits your schedule next. Take care.